Welcome back to Unstable. I am Jeff AKA Big Steck, and I am coming to you just before Monday Night Football. Talk about yet another disappointing loss. Obviously, offense didn't have the greatest of days, so that's stirring a bunch of, well, there's already quarterback controversy, but that's stirring it up even more. So I'll be talking about the game, talking about what I saw from this game, and how I felt the defense did. I thought they played more than well enough to win, but it still wasn't enough, obviously. But sorry, I got my toddler coming up here. You gonna say hi?
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi. What happened?
Talking about the football game. So obviously it wasn't a great game, and there's a lot to discuss and a lot to unpack from this game. First of all, do a little housekeeping. We're still at 69 subscribers. Giggity. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. In words of the office, it is my favorite number. But no, it's so help us out. We appreciate all the support as always. And yeah, make sure you like, share, subscribe. I definitely would appreciate it. Help us pump those numbers up. I've got a goal to reach of 100. 10 likes. He won't leave me alone. It's all right. Yeah, I was at work all day. He's been bored. There was no school today either. But yeah, it was a rough game. It was really tough. We waited all day for kind of a dud. It's a really bad game when your defense scores more than your offense. That's never going to win you any games, especially not against a really good team like the Vikings in Minnesota. I talked about when I went live Sunday before the game that it's a loud environment. They did cause I can't remember how many. They did cause a couple penalties. Kind of expected it. It's what happens in those away games. But
ABCs.
I guess the first thing we'll talk about is Anthony Richardson. We're not doing ABCs. Sorry, he's obsessed with ABCs. He's coloring all over our walls. Anyway, yeah, Anthony Richardson. There's a lot of debate. Obviously, and I think this game proved that there is a common problem denominator with the Indianapolis Colts, and it's coaching, it's management. It's hard to bitch too much about a team that's right around 500, but after however many years of mediocrity, their last playoff game came with Phillip Rivers, so you get reasonable frustration. And that's where we're at, and we're tired of seeing this. We're tired of the quarterback carousel. We're tired of there are other teams that are worse off. I guess if you want to look at the bright side, but we're just tired of being in like mediocrity and the way that how unaggressive Ballard has been at building this roster, especially in this last draft when there's a huge need in this secondary. It's really disappointing to see that front play as well as they did. We came into this offseason and I said that it would be a disappointment if that front seven isn't top 5 in the NFL. Obviously, they haven't really been there to this point, but they had easily their best game against the Vikings, who were very, very good and they forced them into a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes. So the front seven did their job. The secondary, Zaire Franklin had the pick. Nick Cross had that interception. But outside of that, man, I still don't understand Gus Bradley. He had Womack on Jefferson on that big play that he had. I can't justify why Jalen Jones isn't the one on Jefferson the entire game with safety help, because it's Jefferson. One of the top players in the league, and you had him solo with Womack. That just doesn't make any damn sense. So there are still issues in the secondary, obviously, and that blame goes to Ballard. There was several good corners in the draft. You never know if they're going to pan out, but when you have a glaring, obvious need at a position and you do nothing to address it, Alex on Unstable and Chaotically Intolerant has harped about this for over a year now. This glaring need, and he didn't address it at all. I said it in the offseason. They could have easily – I feel like they could have easily traded, some of their late-round picks. They're not even on the team anymore anyway. They could have traded up, gotten back into the second, still gotten Adonai Mitchell and possibly gotten Cooper DeJean or Kool-Aid. So yeah, they were still available early in the second round. I feel like that wasn't out of reach to do, and he wasn't aggressive at all, much like Gus Bradley's defense for large portions of football games. So it wasn't really the case in this one. Man, they dominated the Vikings in the trenches for the most part. I can't say enough about that play with Grover Stewart. I really felt it should have been a penalty. I didn't even care if it was a 15-yard penalty. I'm like, finally, at least they're getting after the damn quarterback. Man, he barreled over his guy and just threw Sam Darnold like a rag doll. They picked up the penalty. It wound up being a touchdown. And that was pretty much one of the few highlights of the game. Obviously, they had a couple interceptions. They caused, I think, 3 total turnovers, which are pretty uncharacteristic of the Minnesota Vikings thus far. And it still wasn't enough. Offense didn't do its job. And you look at Joe Flacco, 16 of 27, 179 yards, an interception. I guess that fumble probably got charged to Flacco, but I don't understand. They were saying it was Flacco for not putting it on Taylor the way that it should have been. Taylor didn't look at it either. I feel like that's kind of a joint mistake. It is what it is. Taylor, I would say that's more on Taylor. He didn't look the ball in at all, but ball goes to Flacco. Man, they had a good drive going, and that's backbreaking. For a team that has struggled to move the football, to have that happen, that's not the way you want to start a game. Granted, Minnesota turned it right back over, but it's just a momentum killer, man. When you're set to get at least 3 on the road and you botch it like that, that's a hole that you don't want to dig yourself into. Jonathan Taylor, I'll still say it was a 1-possession game the entire game. And Taylor had 13 carries. Doolin, Sermon, and Flacco each had 2 carries. Obviously, Flacco picking of 1 yard. But I said it on the pre-show that you gotta give Taylor at least 25, 30 catches a game or touches a game. And that's your sweet spot. I know he wasn't very effective, but he did have some good runs. And they were stacking the box. The Vikings played it well. They did a lot of interesting defensive packages, made it look like a blitz, bailed out of it. Flacco didn't know where the hell to go with the football, but there were the announcers called a few plays. Obviously, there was an obvious first down, easy pitch and catch to Trey Sermon. He went for the bigger play to Pittman, who was in double coverage. Like, Flacco definitely made his fair share of mistakes. So you get into that Anthony Richardson debate, and they're saying Anthony Richardson could have done this, 16 of 27, 179 yards again. Anthony Richardson could have fucked it up like that, but there's a common denominator, like I said, and it's Shane Steichen, man. This play calling is not good. There's no creativity. It's so vanilla. Anytime Jonathan Taylor's running the ball, it's between the tackles. There's just nothing creative, and you can't blame Minnesota for stacking the box, making Flacco beat him, and focusing on Jonathan Taylor because he is the best player on this team. And when you bottle him up, Colts become completely one-dimensional, and that's what happened offensively. Again, there was just a lot of bad play calling. Anytime he did, dude, I don't know what that Flacco interception was. That was right to the defender. Like, as soon as he let the ball go, you were like, it's right to the defender. That's one of the easiest interceptions I've seen all year. And it feels like anytime the defense does anything good, the offense doesn't deliver. It's so frustrating. I'm trying not to be all gloom and doom, but Anthony Richardson kind of feels like the scapegoat, and he wasn't playing good, and he wasn't. But they did have a lot of drops, especially in that game against Houston. And I don't know if you can really blame him so much for that. I will blame him for the tapping out. He took responsibility for it. Kudos to him. And I actually liked what he did on the sideline. I know they're talking about him yawning or whatever. I'm like, well, we were all fucking bored watching that game too. So if we're being honest, like, it was a tough game to watch. Especially I was it's been a long time since I've really been excited to watch a game because of the Colts defense. So when your offense is like, it's a boring game. I don't blame him for yawning because Jesus, there's a lot of jokes. Oh, he was tired. He must still be sleepy. It's past his bedtime. Yeah, whatever. I yawn at inappropriate times too. I'm just saying. But I did like that he was on the sideline with the helmet on, ready to go if he was called on. I appreciate that. I do. It's a good look that he wasn't just pouting on the bench, head down, tail between his legs. He had his helmet on and he wanted to play. Players want to play. So I like that he's still showing that he wants to be out there. Shane Steichen has already said it'll be Flacco against Buffalo. So I don't know what you do from here. If you're Steichen, obviously you improve your GD play calling. Maybe he shouldn't be calling plays at all. Maybe he should be the coach managing. I mean, we could talk about firing, but I'm not going to fire him. It's far too early for that. If the wheels completely fall off, then yeah, I could understand it. But they were a couple plays away from the playoffs last year, and they're sitting close to 500 right now. I mean, they're not Saints bad right now. They're not Panthers bad. Hey, Bryce Young had a good game. I'm just kind of going off a little bit topic, but they're not. It could be worse. I know it's frustrating, and I know you don't want to hear that. It's been too long of a drought, and you don't want to hear, well, just another year. How many more times are we going to have to listen to that? It's looking more and more likely that the Colts are going to miss the playoffs, and it's frustrating. It really is. I don't think Ballard will be the GM if that's the case in 2025. I don't want to get too far ahead of speculating. I don't have a whole lot of faith in management right now either to get the right guy. I don't want a yes man. I want someone who's gonna, be aggressive, not Gregson stupid aggressive, but have a little bit more aggression, be a little bit more active in free agency. I'm not saying build your roster in free agency, but you got to find pieces. You got to do something, man. There's that meme of the stick figure poking the the dog or whatever on the floor, do something. Well, the little pile on the floor is the Colts or Ballard, I guess. They just don't do enough. He was aggressive when he went and got Buckner, gave up that first, loved the trade. One of the best defensive tackles. I can't blame him at all for doing that. He was aggressive another year, moved up in the second. That's how they got Taylor in the first place. So he has been aggressive, and it's like, man, we had hopes that this would be the year where they were kind of all in. You've got Richardson on a rookie contract, and that's the time to win football games. You're not locking them down to a fat deal, and then it kind of just sends you into cap hell, and you can't retain anybody. So that rookie deal is the time where you want to capitalize, and we're wasting Quentin Nelson. We're wasting Kelly. I don't know if he's going to be a Colt next year. Wasting Buckner, wasting Grover. It gets frustrating. You start talking about trades at this point. Like, do you unload any of those guys for extra capital? Give them a chance to win somewhere else. Like, you don't want to see Buckner in another uniform, but damn, man, it's getting irritating. It really is. Watching these guys play their ass off for mediocrity on offense. But like I said, maybe Steichen should be relieved of his play calling duties and manage the damn team. Maybe for first-year coaches, it's too much to call plays and manage. Maybe you can't do both. And based on how this offense is operating, it doesn't matter who's at quarterback. It just looks boring, bland, and vanilla. One of the best games they had, they still lost to Jacksonville because the defense couldn't get it done. So, obviously this is not a team ready to compete in the playoffs. They haven't put it together. And you don't know when that's coming. They still don't have an identity. They can't run the damn ball. They couldn't pass the ball. Some games they could run, they couldn't pass, and vice versa. And then when they could get both things going, the defense couldn't do squat. So there's just no chemistry, no cohesion on this team. It just looks like everyone's playing for their own individual benefit. And there's just no team effort. At least that's what it looks like for me. If anybody's watching, they might just say I'm full of shit. I might be, I don't know. But I'm sorry, when you hold a team to 21 points at home and you have 3 turnovers, you should win that game. I know offensively they put up 6 points. Without that turnover, you lose 6-21. That's rough, man. But I still have hope for Anthony Richardson. I hope I don't know what the hell he was going to learn from this game by sitting on the bench, but you hope that he just kind of learns. Maybe this is coming kind of a humbling experience for him, and he comes back, and I feel like I'm getting just transferring a lot of that cold energy right now, and it's just frustration. Like I feel like we're going to go 500 maybe the rest of the year, have middle of the pack again draft pick, and you get tired of it. But it was promising. The defense outside of the secondary did really well, and I'm sorry, there's no defending Justin Jefferson. There really isn't. There's really no chance if it's Womack on him, but especially with no safety help. I don't know what the hell that was, but they kept him out of the end zone, I guess. But no, I think that front seven did more than enough to win this football game. Secondary, we all know that it's right. I'm sorry, when a guy gets pressured as much as Darnold, 4 sacks, 2 picks, and the man still completes 28 of 34 for almost 300 yards, that's a secondary issue. That's Chris Ballard not going and getting anybody. That's where that problem lies. And I'm not doom and gloom. There are 2 teams in this division that have 2 wins, so I'm not. Like I said, it could be worse, but none of us are going anywhere. It doesn't matter if we win 2, 3, 4 more games than them. We're all going to be in the same damn place come January, so doesn't really matter. But yeah, when he only has 6 drops and that much pressure in his face, that's a secondary problem. That's something that Ballard failed to address. So like I said, I honestly I don't see a scenario where he's the GM going into next year. Hell, even Justin Jefferson had a completion. It's like a 1-yard pass that went for 22, but it was fun to see them having fun. They did bottle up Aaron Jones, which was surprising. 3 yards per carry. I'll take that every day. I think Aaron Jones is a fantastic running back when healthy. Cam Akers did have a nice day. He popped off for almost 7 yards a carry, but they don't rush for 120 yards, which is an improvement over some of these games that the Colts have. Need I remind you of Joe Mixon in week 1? Yeah, there's not a whole lot. Let me see. Brian Murphy had the interception. Yeah, they had an issue with Jonathan Grenard, and Ward had a sack on Flacco. But I feel like there was a lot of plays where Flacco had a lot of time, and he just didn't throw the ball. He didn't take the underneath that was there. The entire offense had their fair share of blame to go around. When there was a wide, like I said, there was that Trey Sermon wide open for the first down. He didn't take it. Pittman, you could tell he's not playing 100%. Like he's not. I don't want to say he's not giving it 100%, but I don't know right now if physically he can. He just doesn't seem like he's running at full speed. Like he's out there more of a diversion, just someone for the defense to commit a guy to. But and of course the IR talks came back up, and they don't plan on putting him on IR. But it's like, man, I think he's been playing with that back injury since preseason. So I hope he gets better. You definitely don't want to see him out there taking more shots like the ones that Flacco put him on. That was on that play. That was nasty. He threw it to him in double coverage, man. He was slow to get up, and I'm surprised he got up like that. You can't put your guy out there like that. Flacco knows better. You take the underneath, take the first down, take what the defense gives you. They haven't given you much. You got to take it, and he just didn't. Let me see. But defensively, I mean, Colts played, like I said, in their front seven, they played a really nice game. DeForest Buckner had a sack. Rover Stewart had 2 sacks. Of course, he had that sack fumble. Again, I really – I'm so surprised when they picked that flag up because you saw his arm kind of hit him in the face. Anytime that you hit a quarterback in the face, they call the penalty. They picked it up, surprised the hell out of me. I didn't really care if it was a penalty or not. Like, I was just happy to see them get after Darnold and make him know you're there. Because a lot of times, I'll take you back to the Jacksonville game, one pressure and 34 dropbacks. So I was just happy to see someone get a hit on the quarterback. They picked up the flag, got a touchdown. So yeah, probably the play of the game right there. And Kwity Paye got a sack, so that was nice to see. Latu, I don't know why they're not playing him more than they are, but because I feel like every down was a passing situation, and that's kind of where Latu thrives. He wasn't out there a whole lot, but when he was out there, I did see him force Darnold to kind of roll out, get out of the pocket. So he was there. His presence was felt on a few plays. Again, didn't record anything in the stat column. At this point, I've been expecting more out of the 15th overall pick and the first defender taken off the board. I think he's had 2 sacks and a couple of tackles through the season. So you expect more production from that. But I don't really know why they're working him in so slowly. I'd like to see more of Latu. I'm sorry. You want to see more of your first round pick. But Matt Gay, I'm kind of over it. If it's anything over 50, forget it. It's maybe he had a 54-yarder. I could be wrong, but he missed one early too. There are times where things just aren't going right, and it's just the Colts can't seem to get anything right. They finally do something, and then one more thing to shoot themselves in the foot. I'm not saying that the yo-yo, I can't remember his name, that he keeps getting put on the practice squad, released, put back. I can't remember his name, but he looked good in the preseason. I mean, you're paying Matt Gay a lot of money, one of the top paid kickers, to be meh. And I thought we were over the whole kicking issue when they signed him. And it seems like they're just kind of right back to square one, and now they're just overpaying for a kicker. So another Ballard gem. But, I have to be honest. I like the signing. I thought he was really good with the Rams, and hasn't really panned out. But, yeah, that's all I really got. I mean, it was just a disappointing game. I don't want to talk about it any more than I have to. It is what it is. Colts, like I said, they entered the rough stretch of their schedule, and they've had, went to Houston last week and went to Minnesota this week. And this, of course, the Jets game was flexed out of Sunday Night Football because it's two teams spiraling in mediocrity. So, don't make us stay up to watch this brutal game. Put it at 1:00. It's so irritating that you bitch about not getting a primetime game, because I'm in Houston. I don't get to watch a lot of the Colts games. I have to stream it. Arg, I'm a pirate. Moviestreams.org. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay YouTube's price. And that like $400-something. They're stupid. I'll just get it off of Dofu or whatever it is. But it sucks to not be able to watch a game, and when it's finally on primetime, they shit the bed like that. So at least offensively, defense was fun to watch. But man, I don't have a whole lot else. I don't know if you can even. I guess I'll end it on. I don't even know if you can even go back to Anthony Richardson at this point, just because we're in win now. We need to win now. It's about winning, and does it even really matter at this point? Like, obviously, we want to see wins. It'd be amazing to see the Colts win out. Probably not. There's still a lot of Titans fans that think, oh, there's still a path to. Nah, you guys already traded your team away. You're looking ahead to 2025. Just wave the flag. I don't want to wave it just yet. Anything could happen. It's halfway through the season. Anything can happen, but. This game didn't give us a lot of reason to be hopeful, but the defense did. So I'll end it on that. The defense did give us reason to be hopeful. Gus Bradley did change it up a lot. He's working with what he has, and the secondary was booty. So against a really good wide receiver, I'll give him that credit. But there was every wide receiver open, every play. Hawkinson wide open, Oliver wide open. It's nobody was covering anybody in that secondary. So it was just. you can't just rely the entire game on your front seven to get it done all game long. And that was actually, you know what? That was another point I wanted to make. Time of possession. And this is probably the biggest thing here. 23 minutes the Colts held the football. They held it for 20 minutes week 1 against Houston. Same thing week 2. Of course, they lost. You don't win the damn game when you possess the ball a third of the time. They were 3 for 11 on third downs. You don't win that way. They only had 13 first downs. And you got to think that Anthony Richardson was sitting back there, well, shit, I could have done that. Like, you bench me for this? What am I learning from this? So, I don't know if you can go back to him. Barring an injury, I don't know if you can put out Flacco, bring back out Anthony Richardson, bench Anthony Richardson, bring back Flacco. I mean, you look incompetent, but this whole franchise right now looks incompetent. So the defense is going to have to do a lot of work if they're going to win football games this year, is all I got to say. And I'm not saying it's Richardson's fault. I'm not saying it's all Flacco's fault. It certainly isn't. There's blame to go around on everybody, but I think it starts with Ballard. Well, hell, it starts with Irsay. You know, what is it, 7-8 years now of Ballard? I love the way he drafted until the last year or so. Now I'm over it. I'm over it, man. But yeah, it comes down to Shane Steichen. Gus Bradley was calling some bad defenses early in the season, and now the offense. Maybe he needs to give up play calling and just manage the damn team. I don't know who I want to see at quarterback. It'd be nice to have our rookie back out there, but and I'm not saying that because, if we have him out there, we'll win games. It's at this point, I don't even know if that's what it's about. I think this was a scapegoat thing to try and save a job, and it's might be a lot uglier than what the record shows for the Colts. But I think at least with that defense with Grover and Buckner and Zaire Franklin, EJ Speed, and Nick Cross playing damn good. I was low on him going in the preseason, and he's looked really good. So, I think this defense kind of gives you a little bit of reason for optimism outside of the secondary. They're going to have to do a lot of work to win football games, man. You can't count on 3 turnovers a game. And when they get them, they couldn't even put up any points for them. So it's going to be a rough ride. And I feel like we've said that many years over and over, but hopefully I'm wrong. And I'll be more than happy to eat crow if I am. But yeah, at least, hey, you know what? We could be Jacksonville paying a quarterback $275 million to be at 2-7. So like I said, it could be worse. You got to look on the bright side. They're not that bad. But yeah, so we're going to be probably doing either a Thursday recording or a Friday live. So be on the lookout for episode 41 of Unstabled when we look ahead to the Jets game that got flexed. Was it the Jets game or they got the Bills? Hold on. I could be saying this. I know the Jets game got flexed. Let's see. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the Bills. So the Jets game is the next. So we'll be looking ahead to the home game against the Bills. The Jets game might be winnable, but I don't want to get into the preview yet. Save that for you guys for Thursday to come and watch it. We'll see you then. I appreciate everybody watching. And please like, share, subscribe. Definitely appreciate it. Drop a comment. If I missed anything, you don't agree with something, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to discuss it in the preview episode. If you want to talk Bills, Colts, please do. And we'll see you in a few days. Go Colts for the shoe, baby. Let's try and get some more wins. See y'all next time.